Shock! Ukraine has unveiled kamikaze drones with a 1-ton warhead. The Black Sea is turning into a trap for the occupiers. An explosive surprise for the Kremlin. Barracuda drones have started hunting bridges, barges, ships and ports. Meanwhile, Sea Baby is targeting the Crimean Bridge again. A technological strike against Russia. American helicopters and Swedish Gripen fighter jets are already on the starting line. NATO Megatech is now in service with the Ukrainian armed forces. Green light for strikes. Western weapons are flying into the heart of the enemy. I'll tell you all the details in a moment. Greetings, Ukraine. Today, Yadrina Hutskalo and the latest events. Exclusively, Ukraine has received a fleet of sea monsters called Barracuda. 9 types of drones, from FPV carriers to kamikaze, with a warhead of up to 1 ton. And this is no longer just training. Enemy bridges, barges and ports are now in the crosshairs. The Iron Monsters can be divided into 4 groups. The first are standard, the second are based on jet skis, the third is a larger version, likely built on boat platforms, and also a 4th group, long-range platforms with a range of 700 kilometers. Ukrainian waters are becoming a deadly trap for the occupiers, and this is only the beginning. All drones from the first group have a maximum speed of up to 70 kilometers per hour, a maximum range of 350 to 400 kilometers, and for communication and control, they are equipped with Starlink and backup radio control. In particular, their first public appearance happened at the end of August this year. The second group consists of drones that have a maximum speed of up to 110 kilometers per hour and a maximum range of 300 to 350 kilometers. And they are also controlled via Starlink with backup through a radio channel. The first type in this group is the Barracuda 4, armed with 4 FPV drones. Next is the Barracuda 5, a kamikaze version with a warhead ranging from 70 to 250 kilograms. And the last type in the group is the Barracuda 6, which can be equipped with grenade launchers and apparently even anti-tank guided missiles. There are only 2 types of drones in the third group. They have a maximum speed of up to 110 kilometers per hour, a maximum range of 300 to 350 kilometers, and communication similar to previous versions. The first type in the group, Barracuda 7, is designed for evacuation and has a payload capacity of up to 250 kilograms. Next, the Barracuda 8 is a more powerful and heavier kamikaze drone designed to strike targets such as bridges, ships and barges. For this purpose, it can be equipped with a warhead ranging from 100 to 400 kilograms. And finally, the last group, which contains only 1 drone, the Barracuda 9. The Iron Monster has a maximum speed of up to 55 kilometers per hour, a maximum range of up to 700 kilometers, and a payload capacity of up to 1,000 kilograms. Such drones are suitable not only for coastal defense, but also for long-range strikes, for example, on ports in occupied Sevastopol or Novorossiysk. Meanwhile, the Security Service of Ukraine has showcased a new generation of the legendary Sea Baby maritime drones. These drones have already been tested in successful missions in the Black Sea. In particular, they were involved in the third strike on the Crimean Bridge, which took place on June 3, 2025. The upgraded drones are capable of covering distances of over 1,500 kilometers, carrying up to 2,000 kilograms of cargo, and are equipped with reinforced engines and a modern navigation system.
Our drones have changed the balance of power in the Black Sea and have proven their effectiveness. The new generation of Sea Baby is even more effective. Therefore, the work to clear the Black Sea of the Russian fleet will continue. The enemy will feel the full power of our technological developments.
The the security service of Ukraine was the first in the world to become the ideologist of a new type of warfare at sea. A year ago, the head of the service, Osip Malyuk, initiated its creation based on unmanned high-speed Sea-Baby platforms, specifically as destroyers of maritime surface drones. This platform is equipped with a gyro-stabilized combat module 145. It demonstrates very good effectiveness at sea, confidently striking targets of various sizes. It hits targets at distances of over 1 kilometer. This missile drone was built with the aim of testing the possibility of carrying heavy missile weaponry on the basis of Sea-Baby unmanned maritime platforms. These drones have already been tested and used in special military operations that the security service of Ukraine is actively conducting in the Black Sea. The most recent strike on the Crimean Bridge was carried out in a completely unusual way. We struck the water from below, and it was precisely the transfer of special forces and equipment for the new phase of the war that was carried out by these maritime drones, and these are the platforms you see here. This is the task set by President Zelensky. The security service of Ukraine, together with other components of the defense forces, is fulfilling it very well. Specifically, the neutralization of the powerful Russian Black Sea fleet. And that's exactly what we're doing. Each of these drones is equipped with an additional 940 kilograms warhead. And this drone is capable of breaking through the hull of an enemy ship or any other object at sea and inflicting serious damage. This is the evolution of what we have today. From ordinary fire ships that resembled Cossack Chaikas to highly advanced maritime platforms, all UAVs just like you.
Moreover, Ukraine controls not only the sea, but also the sky. Ukraine will purchase the latest fighter jets from Sweden, Gripen. The agreement was signed during a meeting between President Volodymyr Zelensky and Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson.
We're talking about 120 to 150 Gripen E-series fighter jets, which are just beginning to be produced. This will allow to build a very powerful Ukrainian Air Force. This is the beginning of a long journey lasting 10 to 15 years.
Zelensky also commented on the importance of acquiring the Gripen for the Ukrainian Air Force.
We are opening a new and very meaningful chapter in our relations between Ukraine and Sweden. Today, there is the first document that opens the way for Ukraine to acquire a very serious fleet of combat aircraft, the Gripen. These are very cool aircraft, powerful aviation platforms that allow for a wide range of missions.
The helicopter era. For the armed forces of Ukraine, it has already begun as well. A letter of intent has been signed between the government of Ukraine and the legendary American company Bell. The procurement of attack and transport helicopters is starting. Viper and Venom are not just helicopters, they are a signal to the Kremlin. Such machines are used effectively by the US Marine Corps and NATO allies. And Belgian F-16s are also on the way. More details. Watch the following report for more on this.
One of the largest and most popular Russian Telegram channels, Divya Mayora, with an audience of over 1 million subscribers, reposted the news about Ukraine purchasing combat and transport helicopters.
We're talking about the Viper and Venom. The manufacturer Bell Textron announced the signing of a memorandum of understanding to develop cooperation with Ukraine. A memorandum was signed to assess approaches to industrial cooperation as part of a potential purchase of AH-1 Zulu and UH-1 Yankee helicopters. The Venom is a transport helicopter, while the Viper is an attack helicopter that carries Hellfire missiles. Both of them can use 70mm rockets, so basically they both have 70mm rockets. The APKWS system can be equipped with a minigun. And recalling American practices, Ukraine can use these helicopters to shoot down drones like the Garan.
The interest of Russian media in the purchase of such helicopters indicates that the Kremlin understands what will happen when these birds appear in the Ukrainian sky. The air defense system will be much more effective in combating strike Shahids. Bell attack helicopters are being purchased as replacements for the outdated Mi-24 and Mi-8, which have long outlived their service life. 85% of the parts in the Viper and Venom are identical, which means cheaper and simpler maintenance. The Viper was created during the Vietnam War back in 1965, and in the 2000s it received new engines and a rotor, upgraded avionics, a fire control system, comprehensive survivability improvements, as well as extensive digitalization. In terms of capabilities, the Viper is almost second to none. To the best attack helicopter in the world, the Apache.
the Apache is objectively more powerful since it's a machine with a maximum takeoff weight of about 4 tons versus 8.4 tons. The Apache's combat radius is 300 kilometers while the Viper's is 243. Also, the main armament on the Apache is stronger, up to 16 AGM-114 Hellfire missiles compared to 8 on the Viper. But the typical combat loadout on the Apache is quite similar. The Viper carries 8 Hellfires and 2 pods of 70mm unguided Hydra rockets. As for the automatic cannons, it's 30mm versus 20mm.
An agreement has already been signed regarding the evaluation of approaches to industrial cooperation within the framework of purchasing Viper and Venom helicopters.
We are proud to announce this agreement and the possibility of supplying these incredible helicopters to Ukraine. This initiative has been in development for some time and we are eagerly awaiting its completion. Jeffrey Loser, Senior Vice President of Bell.
In addition to the procurement of transport and attack helicopters, Ukraine will soon receive another batch of F-16 fighter jets. The Belgian Minister of Defense stated that as early as the beginning of 2026, the new birds will be delivered to Ukraine's arsenal, right after Belgium receives the new F-35s.
We are continuing to receive deliveries according to schedule. The first 3 F-35s, not 4, have already arrived. Now they need to become operational. I think this will take a year or a year and a half. Once we have operational capability, we will be able to transfer our F-16s to Ukraine. This is a very important phase. I always explain this to the Ukrainians. As soon as we are able, we will transfer them. However, don't forget that our country has DCA capabilities and plays an important role in NATO's nuclear deterrence policy. This is the cornerstone of our doctrine. Theo Franken, Minister of Defense of Belgium.
This year, Ukraine received 2 F-16s from Belgium for spare parts. According to the security agreement between Ukraine and Belgium, the latter is to deliver 30 F-16 fighter jets by 2028. As of June 2025, Ukraine has already received more than 40 F-16s from its allies.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
Western media added fuel to the fire. The United States has lifted the ban on Ukraine using Western long-range missiles against Russian territory. This was reported by the Wall Street Journal. It is reported that the decision was made without a public announcement. This move coincides with Trump's desire to put pressure on Russia in order to force it into negotiations to end the war, while at the same time postponing the transfer of American Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. However, later Donald Trump denied the journalists' claims. Nevertheless, Ukraine has already used the British cruise missile. The Storm Shadow missile was used to strike a plant in Bryansk where explosives and rocket fuel were produced. By the way, the US may restrict the use of these missiles since they depend on American data for targeting. Therefore, the question of whether Ukraine has actually been granted permission to strike deep into Russia with Western missiles remains open. By the way, Britain is entering a new phase of military support for the armed forces of Ukraine. Missiles, strike drones, armored vehicles and ammunition. All for the sake of Ukraine's victory. The Allies are putting pressure on Russia until the end. Ukraine has achieved parity. The sky is under the control of our birds. The West welcomes and increases the supply of weapons. And this is just the beginning. So what powerful wave of aid awaits? More on this in just a moment.
The United Kingdom is strengthening Ukraine's skies. Hundreds of missiles for air defense systems were delivered 5 months ahead of schedule. This was reported on the UK government website during the visit to Kiev by the Minister for Defence Readiness and Industry, Luke Pollard. The development of industrial partnerships is important so that we can learn from their experience and build the necessary industrial base together to protect the United Kingdom, deter our adversaries, and support Ukraine. We are talking about the lightweight multi-role missiles, LMM, produced as part of the UK's military support program for Ukraine. This is a high-precision missile, 1.3 meters long, weighing only 13 kilograms, with a range of up to 8 kilometers. It is equipped with both laser and infrared systems for guidance, and the 3-kilogram fragmentation warhead with a proximity fuse makes it effective against both aerial and ground targets. The missiles can be launched from various platforms, from ground-based launchers such as Manpads, SAM systems, Stormer, Alvis or Rapid Ranger to helicopters and ships. As illegal Russian aggression continues to escalate, European countries must unite and strengthen their support. Ongoing industrial cooperation, both with our government partners and international allies, remains the only way to ensure a safe and prosperous future for the people of Ukraine. British support is not limited to just supplies. At the same time, a new large-scale phase of industrial cooperation has been announced, a package worth £1.6 billion sterling, or about $2 billion US, for integrating LMM missiles into the Ukrainian air defense system and developing joint production capacities. According to Luke Pollard, in 2025, the total volume of British military aid will reach £4.5 billion sterling, or approximately $5.6 billion, a record amount for the entire period of support for Ukraine. Another key direction: the United Kingdom and Ukraine are launching joint production of interceptor drones. The project could start as soon as the coming months. This refers to a production line capable of producing about 2,000 interceptors per month. Such a pace is exactly what's needed to counter the mass use of Shahed drones and other kamikaze drone attacks. The first production line will be located in the United Kingdom, but the project structure will be flexible. This will allow for a rapid response to the needs of the front and, if necessary, the relocation of production capacities closer to Ukraine. The British side promises to provide research and development, expert knowledge, and modern manufacturing technologies that Ukrainian enterprises currently lack. This is not just a supply contract. It is an attempt to create Ukraine's own sovereign defense capabilities. Technical equipment, support, training, joint research and development, and supply chains. The Netherlands also announced the signing of a memorandum on joint drone production. European partners are forming an industrial cooperation that is meant to function not through one-time deliveries, but systematically through a network of production, services, and training. In other words,
if in terms of drone quality we have long since equaled or even surpassed the so-called Russian, but in reality Iranian-Chinese Shaheds in practical terms, the question was whether we could scale up production the way it has been done in Russia, Iran, and China. It turns out we could. So when it comes to loitering drones, we are now close to parity, not only in terms of the quality of the machines, but also in terms of their quantity, which is very important in this case. After all, this is not the kind of war that can be won with pinpoint strikes. Here, the mass scale of the strikes is what really matters. It's necessary to... When we're already talking about numbers like a 20% reduction in all of Russia's oil refining industry, that's when you need this kind of scale.
Other allies of Ukraine are also preparing new steps of support. The US plans to continue supplying modern weaponry, air defense systems, artillery and cruise missiles, as well as strengthening Ukraine's defensive infrastructure. According to preliminary plans, in 2025 to 2026, the volume of military aid, could amount to several $billion. Among European countries, Germany and France are preparing to supply armored vehicles and ammunition, as well as expanding their training programs for Ukrainian soldiers in their own training centers. Poland and the Baltic countries are considering the possibility of providing additional equipment and conducting joint exercises to enhance the combat readiness of Ukrainian forces. In addition, the allies are working on plans for the long-term integration of new air defense systems and artillery complexes, so that Ukraine can create a resilient defense network and prepare for a potential escalation from the Russian Federation. As part of humanitarian aid, there are plans to expand programs for infrastructure restoration, medical support, and training of specialists to work in crisis conditions.
And what do you think about reinforcing the armed forces of Ukraine with Western weapons? We look forward to your comments. More to come. Stay up to date with the main news and hit the like button under the video. Wishing you peaceful skies above.